What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're continuing the feedback train for the Modern Warfare 2 beta. And in today's video, we don't have a very controversial topic here. I think this is something that most players completely agree on, no matter what your playstyle or preference is. This is visibility, more specifically, visibility while firing or visibility in a gunfight. Hold up, Ace from the future here. After I recorded this video, Infinity Ward just put out a blog post, which I think I'll cover more comprehensively tomorrow. And in this, they mentioned they will be making some adjustments to visibility. Having said that, I'm still going to upload this video highlighting these issues, and then we can use this in the future when they eventually make this change to compare and look back on. And with this, I wanted to break this down into a few different sections because I don't think it's one particular culprit that's causing these visibility issues. I think it's a few things that are stacking together. But the first factor is definitely the biggest one as far as I can tell. This is the amount of muzzle smoke when you fire your gun. It seems like Call of Duty betas just love adding in all this muzzle smoke. I don't know if they do this so then they can tune it back and then they can say, look, we changed something. I don't know if that's really the case, but I also don't know how this made it through QA testing. The amount of muzzle smoke we're seeing is really causing a lot of visibility issues where you can see your target just fine before you start firing, but the moment you start shooting your gun, all you can see is smoke in the center of your screen. You completely lose track of that target, and you're basically playing a guessing game trying to continue shooting where the enemy was or where you think the enemy was going. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming that this happens in every single gunfight or every single situation. It does seem to depend pretty heavily on the range as well as the lighting situation that you're in. But in either case, I still think this is in a horrible state and definitely needs some adjusting before the game launches. And I have seen a few people try to defend this as being realistic, and first off, realism should never trump gameplay design in a Call of Duty game. But second, even if you are committed to that realism argument, this is not what modern smokeless powder looks like even when firing full auto. There will be a little bit of smoke, but it won't be nearly as thick as this, and there won't be nearly as much of it as well. In real life, you'd typically only see this level of smoke when firing black powder. Now, going off of that point, another thing that I found that's really interesting that we're not used to seeing in most Call of Duty games is this smoke effect typically only applies in first person. You only really see it for yourself, but in Modern Warfare 2, you also see this for other players. And it is crazy the cloud of smoke that you can see surrounding a player after they fire a gun, and that can also completely hide them from your view, at least like the details of their character model, which again can make it very difficult to make the fine adjustments necessary to stay on target and hit your shots. So both of these areas, in my opinion, need to be toned down quite considerably. I don't know exactly what values they're working with as far as tuning this, but I think the opacity of this muzzle smoke needs to be toned down pretty considerably. Next up, another thing that I noticed is shooting surfaces. It doesn't really seem to matter a whole lot what surface you're shooting. It seems to generate a lot of smoke as well. And I'm not talking about little bits of debris flying off of walls, for instance. It seems like there's a puff of smoke when you shoot a wall or even a car, for instance. And that I find sometimes harms visibility as well. If somebody's using a piece of cover and you clip that piece of cover with one of your bullets as you're shooting at them, it seems like kick up this big cloud of smoke that completely covers that target. And not only does this harm the gameplay, this also feels very unrealistic, at least with a lot of the surfaces. Like, I've shot plenty of pieces of concrete as well as old cars or scrap metal in the past, and I have never seen a plume of smoke coming out of that because I shot at it. After that, another thing that I found is harming visibility is it appears they have a suppression effect in this game. Now, I don't know if this affects movement speed at all like we saw in Call of Duty Vanguard, or if this is purely a visual effect. But when you get shot at in the game, even if they're not actually hitting you, but they're just shooting near you, it has this blurring effect on your screen. More so around the edges, but even in the middle, it's a bit blurred. Keeping in mind with this, I have all my motion blur settings turned off. I have film grain all the way down. I have depth of field turned off, so there should be no blurring going on in the game due to my graphics settings. And yet my screen still gets blurred when an enemy shoots near me. Now, if he was shooting me directly, I can understand some kind of an effect with that because that's your punishment for being shot. But this blur effect happens with a near miss as well, which I just think is a bit overkill. This is relatively subtle and by no means a deal breaker for me. I just feel like it doesn't really add anything to the gameplay experience, and I feel like it's one small part that is contributing to the visibility issues in this game. Additionally, one other factor that I was hoping was a bug, but apparently I heard from somebody that a dev confirmed this isn't a bug. I can't seem to find that comment anywhere, so I can't confirm this with absolute certainty. But in the first weekend of the beta, at least, there are no enemy name tags whatsoever in this game. And that's something I don't believe we've ever seen in Call of Duty as like the default way of handling things. In much older Call of Duty games, sometimes perks like Cold-Blooded would eliminate your red name tag for enemies to make you a little bit more stealthy and harder to shoot at, and you did have to sacrifice something in order to gain that power. But outside of that, in previous Call of Duty games, if you look in the direction of an enemy player and you're within that name tag range, their red name tag will appear above their head, and this helps combat a lot of the visibility issues. And I think this was really strongly contributing to the visibility issues in the first weekend of the beta. So like I said, I'm hoping this is just a bug and these name tags will be coming back the way that we've always had them. And to be clear, these red name tags are fully tunable as well in older Call of Duty games. Not only can they adjust the range at which these red name tags can be visible on a gun-to-gun basis, they can also adjust how close to the center of the screen that enemy has to be in order for their red name tag to appear, so you're not just seeing an enemy on the far left or right of your screen that you otherwise wouldn't see being given away by their name tag. You have to at least have them fairly centered on your screen before that'll pop up. Also, I feel like if there are people that like this no name tag gameplay, they tend to want more realistic gameplay. I feel this is much better suited to either hardcore game modes, or if they want to bring back that realism game mode, I think this would be great there as well. In regular core Call of Duty, those name tags, in my opinion, should be visible in game. Now finally, there's one last section here I want to touch on when it comes to visibility in gunfights. And this one I don't have a super strong opinion on right now, simply because we don't have access to all of the attachments in the game. This area is the amount of visual recoil that we're seeing. I'm not talking about the actual weapon recoil, like the recoil patterns and everything, but the amount that the gun is bouncing around in front of you, as well as the amount that your screen is shaking when you're firing a gun full auto. To me, it feels like this is cranked up compared to other Call of Duty games. Now again, this could just be down to the fact that we don't have all of the good attachments unlocked yet, and once we do get some better attachments on our guns, perhaps this is going to be a complete non-issue, and that's why I'm not fully committing to this piece of feedback, but I did at least want to tag it in at the end of the video here. There is a chance that visual recoil is a little bit too high in its current state, but I also feel like we need access to more features and we need more gameplay time with this. I just hope this is something that they're going to be actively monitoring and open to making an adjustment to if it turns out this is a problem even with attachments equipped. And with that, that's pretty much everything I've got for you guys in this visibility video. I guess I also should mention, I'm actually pretty happy with a lot of things that they've done when it comes to visibility in this game. The maps tend to have a lot more color and contrast, and on top of that, I find the character models are generally popping quite well outside of gunfights. If we're taking gunfights out of the equation, I actually think the visibility in this game is far superior to the visibility that we had in Modern Warfare 2019, and I'm very happy to see that. So it's not all negatives here when it comes to visibility. I just think it is a fairly big issue in the game's current state when we're talking about gunfights in particular. And with that, this is where I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are you thinking about the current state of visibility in Modern Warfare 2? Like, first up, what do you think about the general visibility, like I just talked about? Not talking about in a gunfight while we're firing, but just your ability to spot enemies around the map. And second, what do you think about the visibility in a gunfight? Do you think some adjustments are in order for like the muzzle smoke as well as the enemy name tags not appearing? Or do you actually kind of like it the way it is currently? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.